I'm 34, male, and I've always considered myself a straightforward, no-nonsense kind of guy. I run a small but successful IT consulting business, work hard, and live my life by a simple rule: honesty first. When I met my fiancée, everything seemed perfect. She was sharp, charming, and had this magnetic energy about her. We'd been together for 2 years, engaged for 6 months, and I was finally starting to think about settling down for good. But then things started to feel off. She became more secretive, guarded, almost paranoid about certain conversations. I chalked it up to wedding stress, but there were these moments, glances she thought I didn't catch, phone calls she'd step out for, that gnawed at the back of my mind. Still, I pushed the doubts aside. I trusted her, or at least I thought I did. One night, we were sitting on the couch when her phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen and quickly flipped it over. It wasn't unusual, but this time, she seemed almost panicked. "Everything okay?" I asked casually. "Yeah," she said too quickly. "Just work stuff." I nodded but didn't press. Something about her tone didn't sit right with me, but I let it slide. For weeks after that, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. She'd grown colder, less affectionate, and I started to wonder if she was hiding something. And then, about a month later, I got a call from a guy named D. He was a private investigator. "I need to speak with you," he said. "It's about your fiancée." At first, I thought it was some sort of scam. Who gets a call like that out of the blue? But D sounded sincere, and when he explained that my fiancée had hired him, my heart sank. "She hired me to dig up dirt on you," he admitted bluntly. "What?" I said, trying to process his words. "She wanted me to find something incriminating, cheating, fraud, anything she could use against you. But here's the thing. There's nothing. You're clean. And now that I've looked into her, well, let's just say you might want to hear what I found." I was stunned. Why would she do this? What was she planning? My mind raced as I agreed to meet him in person. When we met the next day, D laid everything out. He showed me a file packed with information about my fiancée, her financial records, texts, emails. She had been lying to me about a lot of things: her debt, her past relationships, and even her plans for our future. "She's trying to protect herself," D explained. "She's worried you'll leave her, so she wants leverage. But here's the kicker. She's been siphoning money from your joint account into her own." That hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't even know she had access to that account. I trusted her implicitly, and she was using that trust to rob me blind. I spent the next few days gathering evidence. I checked our accounts, confronted my bank, and found the transfers she'd been making. She'd hidden them under vague descriptions, probably assuming I wouldn't notice. When I was sure I had enough proof, I decided to confront her. That night, I waited until we were both home. She was in the kitchen, scrolling on her phone, when I walked in. "We need to talk," I said firmly. She looked up, her expression cautious. "About what?" I set the printouts of the bank transfers on the counter. "About this, and about the PI you hired." Her face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me," I said, my voice cold. "I know everything. The PI told me everything. The lies, the money, all of it." She stammered, trying to come up with an excuse, but I wasn't having it. "You've been stealing from me," I said. "And for what? What were you planning to do with all that money?" Her mask cracked. "I was protecting myself," she shouted. "You make all the money, and I have nothing. What if you leave me? I'd be out on the street." I stared at her, dumbfounded. "So your solution was to sabotage me? To steal from me and dig up dirt to use against me? Do you hear yourself right now?" She crossed her arms defiantly. "You wouldn't understand. You've never had to worry about security." "Security?" I laughed bitterly. "You think stealing and lying is the way to secure a future? You could have talked to me. But no, you chose betrayal." I told her I was done. The engagement was off, and she needed to move out. She didn't take it well. She screamed, cried, begged me to reconsider, but I was firm. The next day, I met with my lawyer to discuss my options. Since we weren't married yet, her theft was a criminal matter, not a civil one. My lawyer helped me file a police report, and I handed over all the evidence I collected. The fallout was swift. The police contacted her, and she was forced to return the stolen money. Her reputation took a hit, too. Word got out among her friends and family about what she'd done. She tried to play the victim, but the evidence was too damning. As for me, I'm moving on. It's been a painful experience, but it's taught me the importance of vigilance, even in relationships. Trust is earned, not given blindly. After I filed the report, and she was contacted by the police, things escalated quickly. At first, she tried to deny everything, but the evidence was airtight. The financial transfers, the PI's testimony, and her own text messages painted a clear picture. When she realized there was no way out, her behavior took a turn. She started showing up at my office unannounced, begging for forgiveness. One time, she even waited in the parking lot for over an hour, just to corner me when I left. "We can fix this," she pleaded. "It doesn't have to end like this." I kept my responses short and to the point. You need to take responsibility for what you've done. There's no fixing this. What I didn't know at the time was that she wasn't just trying to save face. She was also working behind the scenes to shift the blame onto me. A week after the police contacted her, I got a call from a mutual acquaintance, someone I hadn't spoken to in months. "Hey," they said hesitantly, "I've been hearing some things about you. Are you okay?" "What things?" I asked, my gut tightening. "She's been telling people you were controlling and abusive, that you're only going after her because you're vindictive." Honestly, I didn't believe it, but it's spreading. I felt my blood boil. Not only had she betrayed me, but now she was trying to smear my reputation to cover her tracks. This wasn't just damage control. It was a full-blown smear campaign. I decided to take action. First, I reached out to a defamation lawyer to understand my options. The lawyer explained that while proving defamation can be tricky, the financial theft and police report worked in my favor. Any claim she made about me could be countered with hard evidence of her own actions. Then I made a strategic decision. I wouldn't stoop to her level. Instead, I let the facts speak for themselves. I reached out to mutual friends and acquaintances, calmly explaining the situation and sharing the evidence where appropriate. Most people were shocked when they saw the truth. Slowly but surely, her narrative began to unravel. But she didn't stop there. She filed a restraining order against me, claiming I was harassing her. It was a bold move, one designed to paint herself as the victim. When I was served the papers, I couldn't believe the audacity. Fortunately, my lawyer had anticipated this. At the hearing, we presented the police report, bank statements, and even a recording of her harassing me in my office. The judge saw right through her lies and dismissed the restraining order. As the hearing ended, she glared at me, her face a mix of anger and desperation. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. The truth was finally catching up to her. The turning point came a few weeks later when her employer found out about the legal proceedings. Apparently, she had been using company resources to fund some of her schemes, including hiring the PI. When they conducted an internal investigation, they discovered additional financial misconduct. She was fired on the spot. Her life began to unravel rapidly after that. She moved out of our shared apartment, leaving behind a trail of unpaid bills. Her friends distanced themselves from her, and her family stopped defending her once they saw the evidence. I won't lie, watching her face the consequences was satisfying. But it was also bittersweet. This was someone I had once loved, someone I had planned to spend my life with. Seeing how far she was willing to go to manipulate and destroy me was a hard pill to swallow. Now, months later, I'm in a much better place. I've learned to trust my instincts and protect myself, even in relationships. I've also realized the importance of setting boundaries and not letting anyone, no matter how close, take advantage of my trust. If there's one thing I've taken away from this mess, it's this: people show you who they really are when they think no one's watching. And when they do, believe them. If you like the story and want more, hit that subscribe button. Who knows, maybe my next story will be even crazier.